Public interest group Freedom Under Law has weighed into the social grant fray. It's asking the Constitutional Court to order Social Development Minister Bathabile Dlamini to play open cards and file with the court all documents relating to negotiations and approvals for any last-minute contracts signed with the current administrator of grants, Cash Paymaster Services. This as recipients grow increasingly worried about their next grant payment, that contract coming to an end, and warnings as well of the negative impact on our economy if payments fail.
A small-knit community in Buhle Park on the East Rand, confused and worried. These elders are part of more than 17 million grant recipients who fear that their monthly grants of 1,600 may not be paid, leaving them behind with payments and hungry. They held an emergency meeting pleading with a community leader to explain to them what the CPS SASSA contract matter means for them.
I heard on TV that we may not get this money. I'm worried because I have children that don't work. They depend on this money.
They are arguing about it a lot. Bathabile Dlamini is not even clear what's going to happen. I am so worried about this.
My children and husband died a long time ago. I am on my own now. What will I do if this money isn't paid? I have food and funeral cover to pay.
Joshua Mputwane is also due to receive his first pension payment on the 1st of April. He has some understanding of the issues at play and has tried to share his knowledge.
All the grannies are really confused about this SASSA thing that is ending, and they're not quite sure. But according to my knowledge, what I've seen on TV is that Greenrose is parting ways with SASSA, and there is another companies which are coming to import at SASSA. So we're not quite sure because it's still an argument. And remember that the first coming of April, people have to get paid. So the grannies and the old papas are very, very worried about that.
To economist Mike Shusla, the ailing economy can ill afford to lose out on the monthly 12.5 billion rands contribution from social grants. This is over 3% of the economy, but it's consumer spending that will be mostly affected, 5% of the economy to be precise. Shusla says non-payment will affect big and small businesses.
You take 5% of consumer spending out of the economy and it has a terrible impact. People spend on obviously some basic foodstuffs, but they go right through to cell phones, funeral policies, and also landlords. We mustn't forget that this money is used by, for example, a domestic worker to add onto her income, and then she pays perhaps for a backyard shack. So it has not only those 17 million people an impact on, but on, say, 500,000 landlords. It also will have a big impact on the businesses, specifically in many of the poorer rural areas, right from cafes to cell phone stores. So ultimately it will have a very, very big impact, particularly, I think, in our rural areas that are already poor and are already struggling to make ends meet.
Last month, government increased the social grant amount to keep up with inflation. But because to many it is their only income, they have to find alternative ways of supplementing it.
The money is not enough as it is. I'm collecting plastic bottles to supplement my income. I'm a single father of 3 and I cannot afford not to have this grant money paid.
She's 4 years.
I have a 4-year-old daughter that I pay crash for. The fee is 350 rand, and I use my grant to pay for that. It's important for me that she goes to school.
I pay for school transport for my children. How will they get to school if I don't get that money? It's going to be a big problem for me. My priority is their education.
South Africa has been praised for its solid welfare system across the world, and an interruption could also draw the attention of ratings agencies back to it.
If we miss these SASSA payments in the economy will go into negative territory. This is not a great growing economy. Although this year will be better than last year, we're not talking of growth more than our population growth. So we're looking at 1.5%. Now, if 3% of your economy disappears all of a sudden, you're going to have a negative impact. And it's going to have a knock-on impact right through our economy for quite a while, because you've got to understand that the landlord may not be able to pay the construction worker, and the construction worker won't be able to pay off his debts. And so the impact will be quite severe.
Shusla says it's important for government efficiency to be improved so that its existing facilities are used to distribute payment. This, he says, will give the country enough options for payment distribution channels in future. Diabo Seto, SABC News, Johannesburg.